Hello, Randi Rain here, and welcome back to me building my flea circus. I've got my box of fleas done. I've got my big top box done. It's time to start working on the fleas. And guess which one I'm starting on? It's Zig Zag. It's going to be the little high wire flea, which is going to be a lot of work because, of course, there has to be a high wire. So this has to happen here. And I'm wanting, as you lift this door open, shoom, these come open like this. That's what my plan is. Now, of course, if we scaled the wire for a flea, it would be invisible across there. So I'm not even going to go that route. I'm going to go with the route of something big that you can see, but some cool stuff that goes across it. So I have like this little parachute cord here that I've taken out the core in it. So there's nothing, it's hollow down the center. And it's going to get strung across here. And inside of it is this plastic stuff that I found. And it's going to move a magnet back and forth. So I need some sort of like circle system here with a little crank down below that I can make it move back and forth. So I can have little things like a motorcycle is one thing I'm thinking, and some other stuff to make it go back and forth. Now I have a rule that I've created that nothing can be mounted on the back side of this board here. I want to be able to undo the board. Eventually there is going to be screws holding it down. But I want to be able to untake this off and set it down and flat and not worry about it. So there's nothing can be underneath mounted to this board. Now stuff can be attached that can be disattached, unplugged or whatnot. That's fine, but it has to be able to come off. So the pulleys that are going to have to be underneath for this system are going to have to be attached to the box, and they're going to have to be undone. The belt's going to have to be undone so that when you pull this off, the belt will just be dangling and you can set it down. So that's one of the rules. There's going to be some slack as these two come close to each other. There's also going to be some pulling here at the hinge section. So I'm not sure how that's going to all work. That's why I'm starting with this one. This one is the hardest one. It's also everything I'm going to have to work around this. So I need to get this in place and then just figure out how to put everything else around it. So let me get started. This one's going to be a good one. So you're going to see me using these little bearings a lot. So you can see they're 6.37 millimeters in diameter, which is a 1/4 inch. So they're a 1/4 inch. And the inner diameter is an 1/8 inch. So it takes an 1/8 inch shaft. And I'll be using carbon fiber rod. And I'll be putting plastic wheels and pulleys and all kinds of things around these things. You can see me using them here in these little pulleys here for the tightrope. So now I need to think about these things being pulled up. There's a reason that the hinge joint is so low to the ground here. I could have moved it up a little bit higher, and that would have made the poles been able to be longer and taller. But the higher I come here, the less angle I have to be able to lift these up from ropes on the side to bring these up. So that's why I opted here, and plus the size is just fine. That's fine. So now I need to figure out a way to pull them up. So I 3D printed these little guys, and even has a hole ready to go for a little eye screw. And I think I'm okay with moving these up as high as I need them to go. I think the higher the better. It's easier to lift up from down here than it is to here. So I'm losing this, but I'm also losing the amount of rope pull that I have to play with. So I think if I keep them down here, there's enough for me to play around with the lid opening to pull these things up. So I think I'm good. So I'm going to go with these guys about here. Alright, it's time to drill some holes here. Okay, it's time to start screwing these down. Since these pieces are at an angle from the way they laid down so that they can meet up with each other, I have this little rod and kind of getting them how I want these. I think right there would be good. If it came out just like that, that would be perfect. So now I can glue these down. And I've already coated these with CA glue to take away the 3D printed look of them. Once they're painted, it'll look like something really old. So now I just need to glue these in place. Okay, so I've taken the back off to make all this easier. I've anchored the poles into place. It's actually just a string going around holding these up. And I put a piece of this plastic across and ran it through. And if I go underneath, you know, I can kind of move it back and forth. It's just rubbing on the wood down here. That's why it's noisy. And it won't be doing that eventually. But you can see that it does go back and forth. I just need to see what's going to happen when these fold. And so now I can undo these anchors. So this is going to fold. Interesting, interesting. Okay, I'm going to check the slack here. You know, it seems here is the only place that there's slack that I can pull. But then when it gets all the way back down to here, it seems fine there. Interesting. Okay, so I need to get this little tube glued in here. This holds the little rope, and it just melted into place. So hopefully once I get the tube in there, I can pull this out if need be, because I will need be. Now I need to see about transferring these spots down below. I'm going to try just taking a pencil and give me a rough idea. So here are my marks here. Go ahead and just that and try to find a center. So somewhere there. Alright, there's how it goes across. Okay, I've been testing everything here and came up with some pieces. This is going to be my little gearbox. It's going to have a pulley on here. That will be the pulley when I'm done. But it's got to have some of these to help it along, to help track it. And I've got 3 of these made up. One more. Basically, it's a little carbon fiber rod, some pulley here that I printed out. Just grab some of these little bearings. So yeah, this one, not too bad. That'll be fine. And I printed out these little tiny rings that go on the end here. Now I'm just taking CA glue, put some drops here to hold it. So that pulley's going to be here. So the belt's going to come down here, wrap around, come up over this pulley, go back under that one, back up, and then back up through here. So this part of the pulley system is going to be a rubber ring. It's going to be used to get grip. So I need to make a mold of this so I can cast it in rubber. Okay, I have my rubber ring that I made. It gets put on this here. Glue it down. And go ahead and glue on that shaft as well. So I have my little gear here that turns this big gear. That's going to spin this thing. Eventually I'm going to make a little crank for this. So this guy needs to be in here somewhere. This one will be like here. And here. Okay, I'm going to line the pulley up with that line. Go ahead and screw it down. Okay, these, maybe something like that. It should be on the back side here, should be right on that dot. Alright, I have it braced here. This is where it'll be. So, let's see. Cut some of this stuff. If I put it through like this, it's easier to go down, but one of them I'm going to have to come up through because I want the tie, the connection, to be up top. So this one's going to go down. I'm going to go ahead and put this one down through. Got to go through here. I'm just going to tie these ends together. Cut off some excess. And I can bring it back up. Okay, there's that. Go ahead and cut the knot. Like so. Now I just need to fish it down below in the pulleys. Okay, I'm also changing to a red tightrope. So this needs to go through here. Okay, attach this. Okay, now to connect them, I'm going to trim that. I have this little piece here that I printed out and put some magnets in. I'm just going to take some CA glue, put it on half, then Okay, and it has to be stretched pretty tight, so not too tight. This time I'm going to put the CA glue on here. I got lucky. This stuff actually sticks to CA glue. Or CA glue actually sticks to this stuff. Okay, my red rope here is smaller than the other one. So I'm going back to black. Alright, it doesn't seem to be working correctly. My idea was to take this little motorcycle and it gets stuck there, and then as I crank it, it rides across. But my pulley's slipping. I have to pull this. If I just pull it, it's fine. But if I try to use the pulley system, it doesn't work. So I gotta think of something else here. New plan. I took these two out. I actually reversed these so they're kind of more out of the way. And now I made this pulley thicker, so it's actually going to wrap around like that. And then go underneath these. Hopefully that will work. So there's one little flea. He's learned to drive the little motorcycle across the tightrope. Oh, that's a very trained flea. Watch, he can even do it backwards. Backwards! And motorcycles don't even go in reverse, but this one can. Maybe it's not a motorcycle, maybe it's a bicycle. But whatever, it works. Okay, and now I gotta figure out a way to put these caps on, and I don't want to glue it. So I made these little things. I'm gonna just try to make a friction fit. So if those were in like that, I'm just gonna put spray the bottom of this with some accelerator. There we go. And now I'll just reinforce it. So hopefully just enough friction to hold it in place. Put a little glue here on the outside. Maybe a little friction a little bit more. Oh yeah, that's better. And I can do that some more if I need to. That'll work. Well, I got it working the way I want it to, and I'm happy with it. Now, each one of these fleas is going to do 3 different acts, because there's a rule of 3 in performance, and it's a good rule, and I always go by it. So the flea's going to do the bike, but there's going to be one more thing that uses this mechanism. I haven't decided. It may be the balancing pole goes across, or I may just use this bike with something else added to it. I don't know. But that will come. But whatever it is, it's going to use the same mechanism. Now, the other trick that it's going to do to make up the 3 is something that I'm going to work on in the next video. It's going to be something totally different and not use this mechanism. I'm also later going to work on it folding up with the lid. I need the lid off right now to help work on it. It just gets in the way. So that's going to be later. I'm going to worry about that later. That's the easy part. But I got this done. Anyway, the next video is going to be the next trick for the little acrobatic high wire flying flea. Anyway, if you like this video, please give me a like. If you want to help me out, just like these people right here, these are patrons, these are people helping me out to build this thing. Could not do it without them. If you want to help me out, please check out the link. There's also a PayPal donation if you want to help me out that way, or you can go to my store and buy some stuff. That will help too. Links all below in the descriptions. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. See you next video. So there's one little flea. He's learned to drive the little motorcycle across the tightrope. Oh, that's a very trained flea. Watch, he can even do it backwards. Backwards! And motorcycles don't even go in reverse, but this one can. Maybe it's not a motorcycle, maybe it's a bicycle. But whatever, it works.